for 10 from the line. And that's his 32nd point of the game. Boy, has he played himself a basketball game. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left. Vic lead by 12. Rob Free. To Don Moser. To Savage. Savage looks for help. Free. Norris off the side. The rebound is taken by Savage again. He's all over the place. Bounce pass. Goes up over top of 7-foot Clemens. And it's now a 10-point game with 2:38 left and Victoria out in front. Big Newman, they call him the Rack because at one time he used to be very frail. But he decided to work on fitness and build up his upper body, and he did that, and it's been a big factor in this tournament. Don Moser. Free, bring the ball up court.
And Victoria's back in his own defense after the last timeout. I think they feel they can make Waterloo spend a little more time with the basketball and pack the paint for the defensive boards.
That was just hustled by Ole that took the ball away from Moser. 2:11 left in the game. Foul against Savage. That's his fourth. Just to review, Victoria going after their 6th consecutive national championship. Lost the Canada West Championship to Alberta, but then won a regional, defeating York in the final. And that's how they got here. They fell behind Manitoba 21 points in the semifinal on Thursday night, but came back to win in overtime. And they have been in charge of this game, really, since about midway through the first half.
That's right. They played remarkably well as a team. They made all the right moves at the right time. They had excellent adjustments in the game. I thought Ken Shields did a wonderful job on a bench. Don McCrae did a good job on a bench. But Shields had the advantage because he was leading most of the game, so he could afford to make the first move after each timeout. Changed his defenses very well, kept Waterloo off balance most of the afternoon.
And Victoria, again, will go to the line.
Here we see the action underneath the backboard there. Ole has just played real well on the backboards. He's going to step to the foul line now. He's just had a remarkable season. You know, Phil Ole didn't even make his high school team in grade 11. Word has it that he was a terrible player. He played JV basketball his first year at Victoria and made himself a basketball player. In the last couple of years, he's been dominant in their program.
And here he is now shooting for his 4th straight Canadian championship. Great shot by Savage. 1:43 left in the game. Vic lead by 8. And I'll tell you, Waterloo not giving up. Lots of time left yet.
Lots of time. You want to think there's lots of time, and they're going to make all the moves they can to try to dig back in the ballgame. But when you get this far, you're a championship club, as Waterloo is. You never give up until the last buzzer goes.
Notice how Victoria took that fast break away from Waterloo.
They really did, and that was one of the features we mentioned at the top of the show, Ken, is with the rebounding strength that Waterloo had, or Vic had, to challenge Waterloo. If they took that transition game away, they would have an advantage this afternoon.
Peter Savage just hit for his 30th point. Vic lead by 7, but the foul is against Moser.
This is not a bad move here because the clock is stopped, and the clock is Waterloo's enemy. So now Victoria has to march to the foul line, and they have to prove that they can make these shots in the clutch.
Ken Shields talking to Narbershuber and Dornheide, his 2 assistant coaches. He really shoves that foul shot up in the air, doesn't he?
He concentrates real well, and he's got a nice release on the basketball. Lloyd Scruggs played a fine game in the backcourt this afternoon, too.
And he's hit for 13 points, unusually high for him.
Victoria has really kept their poise against the extended pressure defense of Waterloo. They haven't taken any bad shots at the end of it.
9-point difference. The shot is there. A 7-point difference with 1:35 left. For Peter Savage, his 32nd point of the game. He and Ford Clemens have been brilliant. Moser called for the foul. His second.
Good hustle by Moser in the front of that press. Now we're going to see him here dig. See, Waterloo really has to bring pressure. They can't afford to let Victoria waste time with the basketball. Contact definitely there.
6,521. Give yourselves a hand, won't you?
Phil Ole will go to the line. 6,521 fans here at the Met Center in Halifax to watch two teams from outside of the Maritime area play for the Canadian Championship. What a tribute to Dalhousie University, who are the people in charge of this tournament. And again, an unforced turnover against Waterloo.
Well, tennis players would understand that term just as well as anybody else can. And turnovers hurt you, but when they're unforced, they really hurt you because you're giving up the opportunity to come down, particularly at this time in the game. Waterloo needs every single shot they can get to get back in.
Waterloo trailed by 8 with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Lloyd Scrub to Newman. They got to foul somebody, and it's called. Newman will go to the line. We have 1 minute and 9 seconds left. It's 85-77 Victoria. Fourth foul.
Freeze with a foul. Number 4
against
for him.
Robbie Freeze. Jamie Newman will go to the line. 6'6", second-year man from Courtenay, British Columbia. Beautiful Courtenay. 86-77, 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the ball game. Beck's lead is 9. 10.
Well, Ken, I think we're about to see the flag raising on Victoria's side of the court. I don't think there's enough time for them to get back in the ball game now the way they've been playing.
Moser, his first 2 points of the game. 8-point lead, foul against Moser, his third. 54 seconds, less than a minute to play, as the University of Victoria, that close to winning their 6th consecutive national CIAU men's basketball championship. What a record. What a record. What a credit to Ken Shields, the University of Victoria, and these great athletes.
Just a tremendous performance, and you know, these tournaments really mature players. You mentioned how Randy Norris had a poised afternoon. He really has, and he'll be back for another year's play with the rest of the Warriors. Cord Clemens, this tournament was a hero maker. He's a national name now. Played just brilliantly.
Another foul is called, and that's against Don Moser. Number 4, I believe, on Moser. Don is playing possibly his last college game. He has still can play, but will graduate this year. And a timeout has been called by the defending national champion. There you see Waterloo. What a task they have.
Timeout, Waterloo.
Don McRae. And here's Ken Shields.
Listen up. On offense, after they score, 1-4 press break. 1-4, you're on the ball side. You two guys are here coming. You're screening for Graham coming to the ball. You're on the weak side. All right? No, yeah. And roll. You can move on the baseline. Only throw it if he's open. Okay? No chances. All right? Now, defensively, find Savage. Find Savage. You find Savage after we score down there. And don't let him throw the ball to Savage and him race up the floor and shoot it. Deny him the ball. Don't foul him. Okay? Let's go. Who's on the line here? Okay, come on now. They're down. The game's, hey, the game is not over. Let's go. No time. Come on. Let's go.
There's no doubt who is in charge. There is no doubt that's why they have won 5 and about to win 6. The man is an outstanding coach and never leaves anything to chance.
That's right, and nobody disputes that. He gave good advice on the bench there. The game is not over, and the 1-4 press break overloads in the front court the whole team. All 5 players will be up trying to inbound the basketball. He realizes the only way Waterloo can really get back in this game is if they turn the basketball over, so he's going to bring help into the front court.
Only 47 seconds left. Big lead by 12, 91-79. Some of these athletes will be going to the World Student Games in Kobe, Japan. And we noticed that Elizabeth Card, St. Mary's University will be there with the group, leading the group, and some other outstanding athletes. Break down the floor for Graham Taylor.
Graham Taylor.
26 seconds. Only a matter of time. 93-79. There is Boyce. What a battler. But the rebound is taken by Ole. 17 seconds left. 17 seconds away from Victoria's 6th consecutive national championship. An incredible feat when you consider the turnover in athletes that coaches have to go through year by year. The great ones come and go, but there's a tradition at Victoria that never seems to go away. And that's it. As the Victoria team race on the floor to mob each other. They have won 93-79. They have won their 6th consecutive National CIAU Men's Basketball Championship. And Brian Heaney, great coach in your own right. You've had some fine teams, but that's going to be the greatest dynasty that you'll ever see, probably, in Canadian college sports.
Well, none of us like to say the greatest ever, but certainly the greatest that's ever been. And there's two great coaches, Don McRae shaking and congratulating Ken Shields, shaking his hands. And, you know, we've watched Ken Shields here for the last 6 years, and I've never seen him smile and laugh and enjoy himself as much as the last 30 seconds of this game. I was tracked on his bench, and he stood up, and he was as happy as he's ever been. I think he has to admit this was his greatest challenge while at Victoria.
No doubt, as the two players exchange handshakes, and there is Ken Shields, the winning coach, and his staff. They tell me the only time he really relaxes is on the golf course. At any rate, Victoria the champions, 93-79. The 1985 CIAU Basketball Championship. Canadian CIAU Basketball Championship. Brian Heaney, we've been courtside for every one of those national championships. I thought you made a most appropriate statement when you said this was maybe Shields' greatest coaching job.
No question about it. He's had big personnel changes, large number of new faces out in that lineup, strangers to people who follow basketball. And here comes the W.P. McGee Trophy presentation, emblematic of supremacy in Canadian intercollegiate basketball.
And that's Carl Totsky there. That's also David Sheehan, Phil Ole in as co-captains. Sheehan has been there, 4 championship teams. So is Phil Ole as they carry that trophy back to the bench. It's getting awfully heavy right now with Victoria silverware, I'll tell you. There's no doubt about that. And there is Cord Clemens. What an outstanding game he had today.
He just played marvelously well, and he frankly was responsible for Victoria being in this final game. He single-handedly took Manitoba apart in the semifinals.
If we could just mention something about Cord Clemens, sometimes he's been criticized for inconsistency, but there's no doubt he was consistent today. 32 points, 6 rebounds, 68.8% from the floor, and 11 for 11 from the foul line.
That's right, a great performance, and I hardly remember him taking an inappropriate shot or a bad shot. He also passed the basketball very well back to the perimeter, created lots of scoring opportunities for his teammates.
And Phil Ole, I believe, has just been named the most valuable player, has he?
I think they're awarding the All-Stars now.
Oh, the All-Stars. That's right, the tournament All-Stars, because I don't know how they could possibly pass up Cord Clemens as the outstanding player of this game. They're passing out the All-Star selections. And there you have the... Is there any hysteria that leaves you so fulfilled as winning a national championship? Brian, you've done it. Tell us about it.
It's a marvelous feeling. The season's so long. Basketball starts in September. You run right through to the middle or end of March, and when you accomplish the ultimate in your sport at your level of competition, it's just a great feeling. Here's a great, great player, the Mike Mosier Award winner, outstanding college basketball player in Canada this year, Peter Savage.
Peter Savage, a Rhodes Scholar nominee, and a brilliant player, brilliant student. And another All-Star this tournament is Joe Uggam. Joe is a rookie from the University of Manitoba, his first year, and I couldn't believe how well this 6'8" player played in his initial Canadian championship.
He had a lot of poise and a lot of talent. He really impressed the basketball fans in this area of the country. He's going to be a force in their program.
And here's Chris Alitri from St. Francis, another excellent player. He's about as good little man playing big man's role inside as I've seen.
Plays with a lot of heart. He's got a lot of skill around the basket.
So there you have your all-stars of this particular tournament.
Mr. Totsky and John Graham, University.